Hello, welcome back to the channel Up the Reds TV with me, Andy Canbase. So, pre-season is finally over, done with, parked up until next year, and here we are. First game of the season, match day 1 against Bournemouth at home tomorrow, 8 o'clock kickoff. So, yeah, here we go. Arne's had his press conference, and let's dive into that and other matters as well. Okay, so first question he was asked was about the signing of Giovanni Leone. He says he's not quite done yet. He's not signed his contract, but obviously it's not going to be long for that. I have heard today that he's flying over to do his medical. So, bits and bats. So, it's just a formality. It'll probably get announced tomorrow, maybe Saturday. All being well, how quickly the medical has been done, and the the TV interviews and photo opportunities, etc., of him being at the AXA. Asked about Mark Gahey, he was a bit tricky with that one. He just said that, look, he's a Crystal Palace player. You'll probably need to speak to Crystal Palace about him rather than us. So there is a bit of trickiness with this one. I did tweet that Liverpool had put in a bid for him. I don't think that's the case. I think it was that they were just negotiating the value, but little rumours have circulated in the last 24 hours that he might stay at Palace. It's not what Steve Parish wants for him. I think he wants some money from him. It's mainly down to game time is the question. How much game time will we be given at Liverpool? Because there's the World Cup that's coming up next summer. Now, you know me and international football. I detest it. I'm not bothered about that. He would get lots of games for Liverpool if he signed for us this season, because we know of the fact of Ibu Konate is injury prone. You know, he's injured every season that he's played for us, and he has a spell out. So yeah, yeah, I think Mark Gahey would be a great signing for us. But it looks like there's a bit of an issue somewhere down the line, and if he makes his mind up he's going to stay, there's probably nothing that Palace can do unless Palace really get offered a ridiculous amount, say 25, 30 million. They're looking for 40, 45 million, near the 50 million mark, but I don't think Liverpool would pay that for him. So yeah, Arne alluded, look, speak to Palace about him. So we'll just have to wait and see. We'll know sooner or later. We'll probably know from Mark Gahey himself and Palace before we get an announcement from Liverpool whether we are going to sign him or not, or he's going to become a Liverpool player. So yeah, questions were asked about the pre-season, and the goals that were conceded, and he said, look, we conceded the goals because we gave away possession. So he said he's not looking too much into that. Although I have said in the pre-season games that we need to get the back sorted out because the goals were too soft that we conceded, and there were last weekend. They weren't even counter-attacking goals, were they? Really, it's just we gave the ball away cheaply, and before we knew it, they'd scored. So, but he said, that's a mixture of the teams that have played in pre-season where the goals have been conceded. It's not the regular starters. Plus, there's 3 or 4, possibly 5 new faces in, and you have to take that on board. What he says, it is true that So yeah, it was a mixed ball, but he's not overly concerned. If Armslot's not concerned, possibly I shouldn't be concerned. You shouldn't be concerned, but we'll just have to wait and see. He was asked about players. Are they ready for the pre-season? Are they ready for the season? 100% right. They are ready for the season. And he said, look, the standard for a player who plays for Liverpool has to be 10 out of 10 every time. That's what it's about. I like that. It should be for any team for that matter. But when it's your team, Liverpool, the standard should be 10 out of 10. And that's how it should be. So he was asked questions about, Frimpong, what's he going to get? What's he different from Trent? Look, Trent's gone as far as I'm concerned. We're going to play a different style of football. You can tell by the players that we brought in, and he will be fine. Looks like Connor Bradley's not going to be around this weekend for this game because I watched the inside training. I didn't see many pictures of him or video shoots of him on the training pitch, so he's not going to be involved. So, which is a bit of a shame. Joey's back. He's had a couple of training sessions. A question was asked about him, whether he would make the bench. Slot's not made his mind up yet, but I think we do need defensive cover, even if he's on the bench, and I'm sure his fitness is okay because he did part of pre-season before he got injured, didn't he? Over in was it Hong Kong, and then he had to fly back. So the Achilles injury that he's had has cleared up, and he's had 2 good strong. And I watched him in training yesterday. He had the full throttles on doing one of the drills. So yeah, I'd like to see him on the bench because, like I say, we do need some defensive cover because we are short in that department. So yeah, he was asked about last season's game. I was actually at that game, and yeah, they did score a goal which was deemed offside. They started well, and then we scored 3 goals and came in 3-0 up at half time. And I remember, and I did mention it in the video that I did, the post-match video that I did last season, that they never gave up, especially in the second half as well. We gave them too much respect. They had chances, and more chances than what we did in the second half, and we ended up winning the game 3-0, but it was not an easy game. I expect it's going to be the same. I know they've lost, is it the centre-half pairing? Obviously, Huijsen's gone to Real Madrid, and there's another one. Has he gone to PSG? So they have bought replacements in, but just have to wait and see how they turn out. But it's going to be a physical and a tough game. Bournemouth always play on the front foot, so that'll be an interesting game. Obviously, Kirkus will play against his former team, so he'll no doubt he'll enjoy that run out as well. So I mean, I'm partially picking the team here. I'll let you know the rest of the team at a bit further down on here. So even Arne Slot was thinking, look, half time 3-0 up. He said if it was in the Dutch league, he'd be looking at 4 or 5 or 6, but it never came. So he knows how difficult it was. He was asked about Ryan Gravenberch. He's not available. He wasn't available last weekend, and I said we missed him. We will miss him again in this game. Me personally, I don't think Dom Slobosly and Curtis Jones play together in the same team because they're too similar. I mentioned that in my post-match Crystal Palace. It's not going to work. We were too exposed, too many spaces that their midfielders were picking the ball up from. So it's either one or the other. And as I said, Onslaught's go-to is Ryan Gravenberch. He's Dom Slobosly. So it looks like he'll start ahead of Jones, and I'm hoping that Maka starts. We need Maka in there. It's important that he starts. With Wirtz as well, in being the creative one in there, and so yeah. But he said, look, Ryan had a great season last season, and but he's putting a bit of trust in the other players to turn up for this game. So yeah, Ryan will be a massive miss for me, and once this game's out of the way, he's going to have a run of games where for me this season, his name should be the first on the team sheet, if I'm honest with you. But yeah, so yeah, he was asked about Wirtz. He said by a German Sky journalist, and he said, look, he said what he's been impressed with is his mental strength. He said nothing phases him. And what he meant by that was, he was saying, look, the salary doesn't phase him. Some of the things he does on the pitch, in the training, he's going, wow, he can see things clearly that maybe other players can't see. So once he gets used to his teammates and he's getting that game by game, I think we're going to see the best out of him. Might take him 2 or 3 games to get up to the pace of the Premier League, but he's a player that can look after himself. He showed that last weekend against Palace. So yeah, once he gets used to the Premier League and his teammates, it's all systems go. It's just the way it is. But he's a very intelligent player and a very smart individual as well. So yeah. So my team would be Ali in goals. By the way, if Ali plays, that'll be his 300th appearance in all comps for Liverpool since he signed. That's fantastic. We've got the best goalkeeper in the world. Others might think that PSG's keeper's the best one. But in my eyes, it's Ali. And 300th appearance for Liverpool. What a great record that is. I think the last goalkeeper to hold that was Pepe Reina. I didn't realise that we had him that long, Pepe Reina. So we must have signed him when he was 12. I'm only joking there. But yeah. So my team: Ali in goals, Jeremy Frimpong, Milos Kerkez, Ibu Konate, Virgil van Dijk, and then midfield: Slobosly, Maka, and Wirtz, and up front, Cody on the left, Hugo Ekitike in the middle, and Mo on the right. So that's as strong as we're going to get. And obviously the bench will have Elliott, Jones, hopefully Joey Gomez is on there, Wataru Endo. I'm hoping that Rio's on there, and so is Trey Naoni. He's on there. Chiesa will hopefully be on there as well. So if I've missed anybody out, apologies for that. But yeah. So hoping Liverpool haven't lost an opening game in so many years now. I think in the Premier League, I think they hold the record for most wins or wins and draws, unbeaten since the Premier League started. They sit on top of that table. It was a record I wasn't aware of until today. So yeah, hoping it's going to be a good encounter. Very emotional as well, as it's the match day program, which I tweeted yesterday, Forever 20, in black and white image of Diogo Jota. So the match day program is a celebration of Diogo Jota's life in there, which is a really nice touch by Liverpool as the match day one program. And no doubt there'll be something else done before or during the game. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah. So let's get on to my thoughts about the centre halves. I'm not going to talk about Isak because it's become boring now. So you know my thoughts about it. I've mentioned him in a few videos, so I'm not going to repeat myself. Unlike the Geordie contingent, who seem to know exactly what's going on when really they don't. So yeah. So I'll just leave that by the by. So yeah, Giovanni Leone, 18 years old, 6'5". Put a tweet out. Put your hands up if you've ever heard of him. If you've never heard of him, I never heard of him, if I'm honest with you. Just like anybody else, you watch the videos about journos that are in Italy that have watched this kid. You look at YouTube videos as you would. Can you imagine in the day, 10, 15 years ago, you wouldn't look at YouTube videos, would you, about players? You can make your assumptions on a 2 or 3 minute video of what they do. But yeah, he's an up-and-coming talent. He's already played 17 games for Parma. He's played 30-odd games in total in Serie A, B, and even lower than that, probably conference level in this country. But as I said, he's 6'5". I've seen some of the videos. He can look after himself. He reminds me a bit of Huijsen and Van der Ver, about that mixture there. He's quick and he's still growing. I mean, 6'5" at 18, crikey. His body's still developing. And but yeah, I think we've got him for 26 million. A lot to pay for an 18-year-old unknown. But Liverpool will have done all the data work on him, and will have been confident to meet the valuation that Parma put in for him. There's no going back on loan. He doesn't want that. He wants to be involved in the first team straight away, and I like that, the confidence of him. He's Italian. It's always a gamble with an Italian that's coming to Liverpool. We've had our fair few, haven't we, that have not rocked the boat. We seem to give them good songs to sing. Just ask Freddie Chiesa, So, but yeah. So, like I say, he'll be done and dusted hopefully in the next day or two, and we'll have another defensive body on board. So that'll be Joey, Giovanni, Ibu, Virgil, and yeah, we know that Ryan can play at the back there, and Wataru Endo can as well. But so we should be okay with the amount of games that we've got coming up. Okay, that's enough from me on this one. All right, I will do a post-match on Saturday. I'm not going to do it tomorrow. after the game. I'll watch the interviews and might have to rewatch the game as well, and I'll do it on Saturday, and it should be out around about midday. Okay, enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Enjoy your weekend coming up, and I will speak to you on Saturday. Up the Reds.